So what do you say we spend a little time in the garden today? All right. It's November 30th here in South Georgia. Getting our first frost tonight, supposed to get down to 30 degrees. On our last video, we harvested our sweet corn, went ahead and got it picked before this frost comes so it wouldn't ruin those beautiful ears of corn we had. And I've got a few more things to do to prepare for our first frost. Most of the stuff I have growing I'm not worried about. Some of it I am. We've had a lot of people asking, you know, can my carrots handle this temperature? Can my onions handle this temperature? Can my greens handle this temperature? So I kind of want to walk you through the garden today and show you what I'm not worried about, and then the few things that I'm actually going to have to cover. Now I know some of you up north are hunkered down, really don't have anything growing in your gardens right now, but we do have a lot of subscribers who still have stuff growing in their fall/winter gardens and grow food year-round like we do. Now, we don't get a lot of frost here. We get a few, and we're going to get a few this week, and so we have to take some precautions. There are some things that we need to protect from that frost, or otherwise they'll be toast. So let's start off right here in our pole bean / runner bean jungle. Right here we've got a row of rattlesnake beans, and I've already harvested these about 3 times. And the last time I harvested them, we got a huge bumper harvest, buckets and buckets of these guys, and had enough we were actually able to can about 20 quarts of beans. So really good production we got off these guys. They're still making a few beans. You can see a few of them right here, but not a whole lot left there. And since we've already kind of got what we needed to get off of them, we're not going to do anything with these guys. We're just going to let the frost bite them, then we'll come and pull them down in the next few days or so. And the case is the same for this row of Scarlet Emperor runner beans right here. I just came in here and picked everything that was on these vines yesterday. I got them in a bucket underneath the house. I still got to shell them, but I picked them clean. We've got a couple good harvests off these guys, enough to where I'm okay if the frost gets these guys. So we're just gonna let the frost kill these, and then it'll be easy to clean up once a lot of this foliage is dead and not quite so heavy. Now my English peas are loaded up, as you can see right here. Now they're not ready to harvest. We could harvest some of these as snow peas, and the frost may get these a little bit. I think they can take it, you know, only getting 30 degrees, they might be just fine, and I'm willing to take a chance on these. I think these will be okay. It might get some of these pods here, but the plants are just now starting to put on pods and still got a lot of production left. So we're going to take a chance with these guys and not cover them, and hopefully they'll be okay. Now the one thing in this plot here that I am going to try to save is this row of Christmas Lima pole beans here. You can see, man, the foliage is everywhere. This row right here has given that Horder Nova trellis a run for its money, but it's holding it up, and these things are absolutely loaded. There's a nice one there. You can see some more in there. Blooms everywhere, pods everywhere, and these are always just a little late to the party as far as production, but they're loaded down everywhere. We can see some more in there. If I can get those leaves out of the way. There we go. Some more right there. So I definitely want to save these guys. Really counting on these. I like to put up a bunch of these in the freezer. So we're going to cover these, and on the next video we'll show you how we do that. Well, let's move on and see what else we need to save. Right here we've got our allium plot where we've got our onions planted. All of our elephant garlic has came up. Got 100% success rate on those, which is nice. We got our leeks, which we just planted in our previous video. Those guys are kind of tiny but starting to grow. Those leaves are starting to flatten out and get nice and big for us. And this stuff right here, all these alliums, the onions can take temps down to 20 degrees. We're not supposed to get that cold, and they can even take a little pop below 20. I've seen them take 17 degrees before, as long as it warms back up pretty quick. So not worried about these onions at all. Our soil is nice and moist, which is going to help insulate them. Onions are fine. Garlic is definitely fine. Leeks are certainly fine. Doesn't ever get cold enough here to bother those guys. And the onions, They'll handle 30 degrees all the time, no problems. Now, of all my cover crop plots, I really only expect to see some damage in one of them, and with cover crops, not a whole lot you can do. In one plot, we've got our frosty berseem clover, which is extremely cold tolerant, no worries there. We've got those Marvel chickpeas in another plot. Don't really expect them to suffer that much with some 30-degree temperatures. We've got that massive cover crop cocktail plot we planted just a video or so ago. That stuff's coming up, but most of that stuff's pretty cold hardy. Don't really expect any issues there. But here, where we've got this Kodiak brown mustard and this tillage radish, we're probably going to see a little die-off, especially with the tillage radish. Now, we can't really tell looking out there. It's hard to tell what's radish and what's mustard because it's planted so thick. But the radishes will, you know, die off, brown up pretty good after we get a decent freeze. So those will die off. The mustard, I'm interested to see what happens here. I'm getting to the point where I need to incorporate this into the soil as part of our biofumigation plan, and I'll probably be doing that in the next few days. I don't know how cold tolerant this Kodiak brown mustard is. My guess is going to be it may burn the tips of it a little bit, but it's not going to kill it back completely. We'll just have to see. But this is the one cover crop plot I do expect to see a little frost damage. Back to another vegetable plot here. This is where we're doing our no-till experimental stuff this fall. We've got lettuce, we've got cabbage, we've got broccoli, cauliflower, and some more lettuce on the other end there. Not really worried about anything in this plot. Usually, from my experiences, as long as the soil is moist, the lettuce can handle it a little bit. It will burn the tips of it a little bit. A light frost will. It may make it, you know, not as visually appealing, so to say, but it won't just completely ruin it. So I think the lettuce is going to be fine. The cabbage will certainly be fine. The broccoli and the cauliflower is not putting on heads yet. Now, if we were putting on heads, we would have something to worry about because a frost will ruin those heads. So we don't have any heads yet, so we don't have to worry about that. If I did, I would have to make a decision to go in and either cut all the heads early, take an early harvest, or to cover them up. But we're not quite there yet, so nothing really to worry about in this plot. And in this last vegetable plot here, we do have a few things we got to worry about, which we'll get to in just a second. That volunteer sunflower right there is going to be toast. I was kind of hoping we might see a bloom or two on there. It's loaded down with them, but it's not going to make it. We got these carrots here, and they'll be just fine. Soil's nice and moist, got some rain. No worries with carrots here. I've never seen it get cold enough here to do any damage to carrots, so not worried about those at all. Our kale here, our Blue Ridge kale and our lacinato kale, they'll be just fine. In fact, a little frost will make those even sweeter, nice and tasty. So I welcome that for the kale. Same thing with the collards, which we've already harvested once, our Top Bunch 2.0 collards. Collards are one of the most cold tolerant vegetables you can grow. No worries there. With the Brussels sprouts, we welcome some cool weather, some frost, because that's what kind of helps trigger our sprout production. So we're getting some nice leaves on those, and they're going to enjoy a good little frost. That always kind of helps them be a little more productive from my experiences. Now this row right here is the one we really got to worry about. So we got some garlic chives at the end here, and hopefully the frost will kill that little pigweed there. The garlic chives should be fine. The cilantro, not really sure. It's been a while since I've grown cilantro in the garden in rows like this, and I can't really remember just how frost tolerant it is. Maybe some of you in the comments can help me out with that. But these guys right here are definitely not going to make it through a frost. This Thai basil here and this Italian basil up here. And we've just been harvesting some of this stuff here, making some margarita pizzas, and just really enjoying having these fresh herbs in the garden. And I'm not ready to see them go yet, so we're going to definitely have to cover these, take care of them, because I'm going to try to keep these growing all throughout the winter. And just like I said, really been enjoying having these in the garden. This fresh basil is absolutely delicious. And then the last two rows in this plot beside those herbs that we're going to cover. I don't really know what's going to happen here, but I'm not going to cover them up. We've got our all top turnips, not big enough to harvest yet by any means. Hopefully maybe we just get the tips burned on those and they'll be just fine. A lot of times they will grow back and survive a light frost, so we're just going to leave those there. Here we can see tiny little rutabaga sprouts coming up from where we direct seeded some rutabagas. Those guys are small. I don't know if they'll take it or not. Rutabagas are really cold tolerant, but I don't know about those small little seedlings there. So we'll just have to see on those. You know, if we lose them, then we may just be better off starting some rutabagas in the greenhouse and transplanting them. That way we're putting in a more cold hardy plant in the ground. We'll just have to see if those guys make it. But we're going to take a chance on those and the turnips. So as you can see there, of all the stuff we have growing, we got a few things like those rattlesnake beans that we've already harvested a bunch from. They're really not worth saving. We've got some things that we don't have to really worry about saving, like our broccoli and cauliflower, because we don't have heads yet. We got some things that we definitely want to save, like those lima beans and that row of herbs. And we got some things we're just going to take a chance on, like the English peas and the turnips. So I don't personally have time to, or the resources, enough cover to cover every single thing. So I kind of have to just pick and choose my battles there, pick and choose my spots, and save the things that I really want to save, and then just keep my fingers crossed on the other things. And I imagine most of you who are growing your own food on your homestead kind of have to make those same decisions sometimes as well. Down here, like I said earlier, we rarely get to 20 degrees. I think the coldest I can remember in the last 10 years or so was maybe 17. That was just for a minute. So usually our frosts are, you know, high 20s, low 30s or so. So not super cold, but cold enough to do some damage to some plants, especially these warmer season plants that we're trying to push on into the fall here. Sometimes we don't get a frost until mid-December, it seems like, and we don't have to worry about these beans like that, but we definitely want to worry about them today and get them covered. So let me know in the comments below, if your garden is still growing, what you're doing to save certain rows of plants or certain crops. Maybe what crops you're just going to let the frost have, or, you know, are there some where you like me and got your fingers crossed with them a little bit. And on the next video, I'll actually show you what I did to protect this row of pole limas and that row of herbs. I'll show you just a little simple setup I used with a white plastic, a clear plastic there to protect these guys from these light frosts we get down here in South Georgia. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring that bell so you get notified every time we come out with a new video. And if you did enjoy this one, check out these other two videos right here. I think you'll really enjoy those as well. Y'all stay warm, and we'll see you next time.